Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, you're welcome, and if you're a returning subscriber, you are very much welcome. So in today's video, I'll be teaching you how to draft the pattern for this beautiful short knicker, how to draft the pattern and also how to cut it. If this is something you're interested in, keep watching. This video is for you. So let's start cutting. So we start by measuring 2 inches of the seam allowance from the bottom of our pattern paper. Then after measuring the 2 inches, you draw a straight line across the mark. Then from that point, you measure your short length. You measure your short length from that point. So after taking the measurement, you also add another 2 inches for the upper part. That's another seam allowance for the upper part. Then you draw lines. You draw a straight line across those points you've made. So you label those lines. So that part, the upper part, the seam allowance. And you also label the lower part too. You indicate it. That's also the seam allowance. So from the line below the seam allowance, the second line, you take your crotch line measurement. There are various methods of measuring your crotch lines. So I will drop a picture on how to measure it. So from that line, from that point you've marked, you draw a straight line across that point. So you label it as your crotch line. So after that, you come down from that crotch line. You come down by 1 inch. That's our tie line. So you draw a line across it. So to indicate that's our tie line. So from that crotch line, you measure your hip. You divide your hip into 4. For example, if your hip is 32, you divide it into 4, which is 8. Then you take the measurements. Now you divide the hip measurement. So the hip measurement you've measured, you divide it into 4 again. So 8 divided by 4, that's 2. So you'd add 2 inches in extension to the 8 you've measured before. So you take your, on the line below the seam allowance, you measure your hip measurement there. You don't add that additional 2 inches. So you just measure the hip measurement there. Then you draw a straight line from that waistline down to the crotch line. You draw a straight line from the seam allowance down to the crotch line, a straight line. So now you can take ½ inch or below ½ inch or more, depending, inward towards your hip measurement. You take like ½ inch or 3/4 or 1/4 inch, depending. So yeah, I took 1/4 inch. Then you draw a straight line across that. Then you make a curve from that point you added to the crotch line. You make a curve to the line you've drawn. Then you make a curved line. So now to measure our tie, so you measure the line all together, the hip and the additional 2 inches. You measure it, then you divide it by 2. Then you take the measurement. So you divide it by 2, and on the crotch line you make a point. So from that point you draw a straight line across all the lines. So from the seam allowance down to the lower part seam allowance, you draw a straight line. Then you take your tie measurement. For instance, if your tie measurement is 18, or if it is 16, let's say 16, you divide it into 2, which is 8. Then that 8, you'd also divide it 4 on that part and also 4 on the other parts. If you don't understand, just look at what I'm doing. So your new measurement also, for instance, let's say it is 12, so you divide it into 2, which is 6. So 6, now you take 3 from that part and you take 3 from the other part. Note, you don't divide your tie measurement and your new length measurement into 4, but you divide into 2. So now it's time to join those curves. So you join those lines together, you join it downward. Just look at what I'm doing, you will understand. So you also join the line at the other side too. So you join the line downward. So now it's time to redraw the lines I've drawn before with a marker. So that's the crotch curve. So yeah, I'm just retracing the line I'm supposed to cut out. So now it's time to cut our front pattern. If there's a part you don't understand, please just drop a comment in the comment section. I will respond to it as soon as possible. So now let's cut the back parts. So for the back parts, you place your front pattern on another paper. So you can pin them down. You can pin the front pattern down, or you can also just tape it down for it to gain stability. So before pinning, make sure that on that side, that straight side, make sure that it is more than 2 inches. So in case you want to take your measurement. So now I'll be taking 2 inches round across that part. Please just look at what I'm doing. It's very easy. Just take 2 inches. Take 2 inches round. So for this, then you draw your line to connect the lines together. So at this side, on the crotch line, you extend the line to the back pattern. You extend the line across the front to the back. Then you can take like 1 inch depending on how big the hip of the person is. So yeah, but for a regular hip, just add 1 inch just to extend the crotch line. So there are 2 ways to do this, but I'm using the easiest method. So then you draw a curve that will connect that line to the other line. As I've drawn the line, just look at what I'm doing. Then you measure that side and you transfer the same measurement, you transfer it there. You see, it's almost the same thing, but just a little different. Then you just curve that part. You just draw another curve. draw another curve. So now I'm retracing all the new lines I've added to the back bodies. I'm retracing it, so whenever I'm cutting, I'll just cut those ones. So you extend that line down, you retrace it down, and also that part, you rejoin the line. So that 2 inch on that side will serve as the sewing allowance. That means whenever you're sewing, you sew with ½ inch, because ½ inch by that side and also ½ inch on the other side to sew. So you label your pattern. That is the front. I'll label the back later. So you remove your tape gently so that it won't destroy your pattern. So you draw that line to the new line you've added to the back pattern. Remove your tape gently. We are almost done. So now you cut your back pattern. You also label it. You label the back pattern. So here is it. So if you were watching up to this extent, if you follow me to this extent, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've learned something new, and I hope you will also recreate this. So the cutting and the sewing will be in the next video. Stay tuned. I will drop that shortly. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please drop a lovely comment. Also give this video a thumbs up, share with your friends, and I'll see you in the next one.